Hello, a good day or good night wherever you are around the world. You are all welcome to It's All About Love with Anna. My name is Anna for those who know me already. So today we are going to be talking about Mother Theresa again. We are going to go for the fourth episode. For those who didn't see or didn't watch the first, second and third, I would advise you, if you are interested, to go back and watch it, because you'll get some information more about Mother Theresa, about her teenage years, her infancy, successes as a nun in Loreto Convent, and up until 1946, when you finalized on the third episode, when she received the second call. So and then when she got the visions as well from Jesus, received the visions and a clear mission for the rest of her life. So, but today, in the fourth episode, you are going to be talking about Mother Theresa after 1946, and so then she knew all that she had to do, because Jesus had revealed her throughout the end of 1946, and by the beginning of 1947, Father Celeste and Mother Theresa knew that it was the will of God for Mother Theresa. They really were certain that God wanted Mother Theresa to leave the convent and to go to help the poor of the poor, starting with the slums and then going for the rest of the world. So Father Celeste was sensing on Mother Theresa a union with God, which exceeded his initial impression of a woman who was very good, very simple, very humble, and very obedient. For those who know, if you go back to the other episodes, you know that when Mother Theresa met Father Celeste, her spiritual father, Father Celeste didn't have a wonderful, exceptional impression of Mother Theresa. But now he was changing. He was changing. He felt that she was very dear and very good. A call was urgent. She knew that a call was urgent. And she had to help the poor. Mother Theresa really knew that she had to help the poor. Those ones who were living in darkness. You know, the poor, like I said and I repeat, are not just those who are poor financially or don't have food to eat or a roof to be. They are the ones who are suffering in darkness. Those ones who are suffering emotionally, those ones who are suffering spiritually, those ones are suffering because of the society, because they are isolated, because they are misunderstood, those ones who are suffering physically, those ones who are suffering of everything. They are in darkness. In addition, Mother Theresa had to start on her own and trust in divine providence, because she knew that she had to start and to trust in God, because He had told her that. Afterwards, with the help of the spiritual father, Father Celeste, she wrote a letter to Archbishop Pereira of Calcutta to inform him about the will of God for Mother Theresa. And Father Celeste handed the letter to Archbishop Pereira, and however, Pereira was reluctant to open the doors for Mother Theresa. He was reluctant to accept a proposal. According to Archbishop Pereira, a proposal seemed to be irresponsible. And there were few reasons for that, mainly 4 reasons. And the Archbishop Pereira, the first reason he had, it was he knew that other orders in Calcutta, such as Sisters of Charity, were already working with the poor, and he had doubts if other order was necessary. Those charities were doing free service to the poorest of the poor, but they were financially funded for the poorest physical and material needs. He knew that. And he told this to Mother Teresa and Father Celeste. The other second reason he had being reluctant to accept a purpose was he felt that Mother Teresa's plan to live alone in the slums, trusting totally in the divine providence for the provision of her own needs and those ones who might could join her, it could be too risky. He thought so. And in the third reason, he thought that Mother Teresa was not Indian, an Indian lady. She was an European lady, a foreigner walking on her own. It would bring public criticisms as Indians had strong nationalist feelings. Indians had strong nationalistic feelings. Yes, it would bring public criticism for Mother Teresa being on her own as an European, doing all of that on her own. And the fourth reason the Archbishop Pires mentioned, it was that another nun previously had felt that it was her vocation to leave the convent to work on her own, like Mother Teresa. And shortly after this nun left, she came back to the convent and she did not cope with it. The Archbishop Pires believed that Mother Teresa was going to have the same destiny as this lady. But many of you know that she didn't have. She did achieve wonderfully in this world, helping humanity, helping others. She was exceptional, and she really was successful, not the other lady. She had the strength, the courage. She was selfless to fight for others. Although she had her moments, weak moments, but she just left the weak moments and she jumped to better moments. That's what was happening with her. So, due to these doubts, the Archbishop Pires was reluctant to accept Mother Teresa's request, and therefore he did not authorize application to Rome for a year. So Mother Teresa had to wait. And in the meantime, after her first letter to Archbishop Pires, in the mid-January 1947, she was transferred from Calcutta to Asansol, a town about 140 miles to the northwest of Calcutta. She took her new role of teaching, but with fewer responsibilities than in Calcutta. And this gave her more time to spend in prayer and to prepare herself for a new mission. That's why she would have more communications with God. She would have more clarity of her mission for the future. But while she was waiting, she continued having interior communications, like I said, with Jesus. And God's calling was urgent for her. She knew that she had to leave the convent to begin her new work. She could not wait. She knew that she couldn't wait. That's why she was so impatient. She was always talking to her spiritual father Celeste, and the Archbishop Pires. Thus, in order to speed up that matter, Mother Teresa wrote a series of spiritual letters to them. She was impatient because she knew that what God wanted was real. It was real. She wanted to specifically convince Pires to let her begin the work, a mission. Unfortunately for Mother Teresa, the answer was always, wait, Mother Teresa. And she had to wait, because she was obedient to them. And she knew that she had to be. So she continued waiting. So traditionally instructed by Father Piri or Archbishop Piri, Father Celeste told Mother Teresa to tell no one about the request, that the situation. And because, like I said, she was so obedient to them, she kept this secret for quite a long time. But in July 1947, Mother Teresa returned to Italy, to the convent, to the community in Calcutta. And she kept reminding Father Celeste, the Lord wants it now. It is urgent. I have to start. I have to begin. A continual insistence made a spiritual father, Father Celeste, to continue appealing to the Archbishop Piri. Because of a persistent Piri or Archbishop Piri consulted Father Henry, the general of the Society of Jesuits, on the canon law in Rome. The response then was positive. When the Archbishop Piri consulted Father Henry, the general of the Society of Jesuits, on the canon law in Rome, and the answer was positive, then everything was easier. So, in January 1948, Archbishop Piri gave Mother Teresa permission to apply to leave the Loreto order. And in April 1948, the decree finally arrived. Before she opened, she prayed. She opened the letter where the decree was. She prayed. The decree authorized her to walk among the poor. She was no longer Loreto nun, and Piri was to continue as superior. However, she did not leave straight away. She stayed silent until August of that year, the same year in 1948. Continuing directing the Bengali school. She stayed silent. She was obedient. She stayed silent. But on the 8th of August 1948, the decree of her leaving was made public. Everyone knew in the convent and outside that she was going to leave the convent. Everyone in Loreto was saddened, was so sad, and some cried for days because they loved her so much, because she was a wonderful lady. She had been with them for nearly 20 years. She was deeply loved by you all. And in the preparation for her departure, Mother Teresa was very cautious. She went to the market and she bought 3 cheap white saris with 3 blue stripes, the color of the Virgin Mary, because as you know, Mother Teresa loved the Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus. But she got these white saris with 3 blue stripes to honor her. And she was instructed to go to Parma to acquire some medical knowledge and experience before starting with the poor and the slums. It was her first mission, to go to the slums and start with the poor. But before, she would have to go to Parma to learn some medical knowledge for her to deal better with the poor. She would have to learn about how to give medication, how to treat them, to be like kind of a nurse. On the 9th day, or on the night of 16th of August 1948, Mother Teresa left the Loreto convent, wearing a new uniform, new habit, a future the habit, the sari for a future congregation. She took the train ticket and to Parma and 5 rupees. She just was with the white vest, only wearing the white vest, with the ticket to Parma and 5 rupees. The Loreto nuns wanted to give her more money because they felt that it was not enough, it's not going to be enough. But Mother Teresa trusted in the divine providence. She trusted that 5 rupees were going to be enough, and probably along the way God would give her more using other people. So she left the Loreto convent peacefully, and I believe that she suffered so much when she left too. But is it because I believe that she really suffered when she left. She was happy to leave because she had a great mission ahead of her to help the poor, but she really suffered too. As she left, her heart was nearly breaking. Nearly breaking. But her specific vocation was not for the students of Loreto, but for the poorest of the poor, and she knew that. It was a call that she had to follow. She had no doubts of it. In her own words, she once said, and I'm going to read for you. She said this: "Leaving Loreto was my greatest sacrifice, the most difficult thing I have ever done. It was much more difficult than leaving my family and country to enter religious life. Loreto, my spiritual training, my work there, meant everything to me." She also recalled, "I was the happiest nun in the world." For you to see that really what she was doing, she really loved what she was doing. She was so good with the nuns, with the convent, and everyone loved her. But she knew that she had to leave that and to go to help the poor of the poor. It was difficult. It was also a new adventure for her. But she did not stay for long in Parma. After a few weeks of training, on the 8th and 9th of December, she returned to Calcutta, and she first went to the slums of Montejo for her first morning, and 25 children appeared, were there with her, came to her. They were called the slums of Montejo, those slums that were outside of the convent, the Loreto convent. And it was the first place she went to work. It was easy. The environment was very familiar to her. And so the first day she went there, 25 children appeared, were there around her, were her first students. But as Father Celeste's request, the little sisters of the poor institutions offered a small room for her to stay. But on the following morning, the number of children doubled, and they were already waiting for her. They liked so much her company, her teachings, that everyone were calling others, friends of friends, to come to see Mother Teresa, a nun who was teaching in the slums. And they doubled the number. And so each morning after Mass and breakfast, Mother Teresa would make her way to the slums. In those days, she stopped to work between 5 and 6 in the afternoon. And she devoted her evenings to prayers and writing, because as you know, if you go to check the first, second episode, you know that Mother Teresa loved writing too. Apart from prayers, she loved writing. So in the evenings, she dedicated time for prayers and writing. And on the 28th of December, she had permission to open her first school in Montejo. It was an open space among the huts, because the slums were full of huts. The children were sat in the dirt, and she scratched the letters in Bengali alphabet in the mud with a stick. That was the way she knew, and she had to start from something. And so she got a stick and she had the mud on the floor and she would write the letters to teach the kids, to teach the children, and the children loved it. Wonderful, wonderful. So, at that time she said, Mother Teresa said, I'm going to read for you, those who were not clean, I gave a good wash or bath at the tank. We had catechism after the first lesson in hygiene and their reading. After middle war class, we went to visit the sick. So, as you see, she would wash them. She would wash them in water in a tank, apparently. And they would have catechism, and she would give them lessons of hygiene as well, and as well reading and writing. And so after that, they would go and see the sick people. That's beautiful. What do you think about this? Wonderful. That's incredible. So strong, so good, so beautiful. That same year, in 1948, Mother Teresa became an Indian citizen. For those who don't know, she was an Indian citizen, and she became Indian citizen in 1948. It was also in that year, in 1948, that she first met Jacqueline de Caire, a Belgian sister who, like Mother Teresa, had come to Calcutta at an early age to work with the poor and the sick. They had the same motives, the same interests, Mother Teresa and Jacqueline de Caire. This woman, Jacqueline, also shared the same passion, like I said, the same interests, the same motivations for the poor. And for this reason, both women became very, very friends. Very friends. And so, a few years later, Decca became the co-worker of the Missionaries of Charity. So, Decca or Jacqueline, the friend of Mother Teresa. So, as people heard what Mother Teresa was doing, they began to give her money, and some came to help, including a former teacher who came with her to teach. They knew, they began to know what she was doing, and a retired teacher offered her a support by going with Mother Teresa to teach the kids too. Beautiful, beautiful. Because we are all full of love. God gives us beautiful love. And we just have to share this love. If you don't share this love, then the love is going to die. And you're going to be miserable as well. So it's good to share, to grow, to let love flow, like Mother Teresa was doing. She was living, letting her love flow for the others, for God. And this former teacher as well. And from other people that came to help them, Mother Teresa. In one occasion, Mother Teresa saw a woman die on the street. I know that probably many of you know this story, but for those who don't know, Mother Teresa had a great heart of compassion for others. And one day she saw a woman dying in the streets. And she took her to the hospital, this woman to the hospital. But because this woman was poor, the staff at the hospital didn't accept this woman there because she was poor. And afterwards, this woman, died in the streets. Wow, that's sad. What do you think about that? But this episode really moved Mother Teresa. And as a result, she decided to make a home for the dying. What she did, it was this. She rented 2 huts in Montreal for 5 rupees each. One for the school and another one for the dying people for those who were sick, for those who were dying. And that's beautiful. That's a great courage. What do you think about this? Beautiful. She continued instructing Christian children, Mother Teresa, visiting the sick and elderly, and bringing comfort to Hindus, Muslims, and people from other faiths. She also began to work in other slums such as Tijland and Owara. I'm not sure if I'm spelling this right, but probably you know how to spell and you understand what I'm trying to say. She also opened a dispensary at St. Theresa Church. Well, when she started by doing this work in missions, going to the huts, helping people, she initially felt lonely. But as people got to know her work, they encouraged her and gave her some financial support. Gradually, she was becoming very, very extremely popular, who, in spite of adversities, religion and politics, she left everything on behalf of the poor. She was a white nun, European nun, who left her country to go to India, and everyone was getting to know her, especially those people in the drivers of the buses. They would start conversations with her, encouraging her, saluting her. She was becoming extraordinarily popular by what she was doing. So one day a Muslim woman approached her in Mojo, in the slums, and said to Mother Teresa, "I'm going to read to you. When you hear that I'm sick and dying, please come. I want to die with God." See, everyone from different faiths didn't have any doubt that she was coming from God. Everything she was doing was for the good of others and mainly for God. And this Muslim lady, she said, "I want to die with God," because she knew that Mother Teresa was from God. Apparently she had no doubts about it, and that was beautiful. However, in spite of this, some people criticized Mother Teresa. Many those who believed that were serving God, especially from churches. For instance, one day she approached a priest to ask for help, for financial help, and she treated her with disrespect, almost as though she was a criminal. But everyone knows that she was not a criminal. Within that atmosphere, where the beautiful and ugly were battling, doubts and the temptation to return to the security of the convent arose to Mother Teresa, were very strong. Once Mother Teresa said, "Everyone sees my weaknesses," and often tears filled her eyes. But she was determined to go strong in her call and never go back. Of course, she suffered initially. I don't have doubts about that, and I know that many of you know this. It was very hard for her to live a comfortable life, a convent, where she had everything, and going, and just living without anything, without food, begging for food, being criticized, calling her criminal, so many names. But she overcame everything because she knew that she was doing everything for God, and God had asked her to do. It was her main point, her main focus. Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful legacy. Then she knew that sooner or later, some other people would join her would join her, especially as students, previous students. They would join her. And so because she knew that they were going to join her, because they had manifested interest to join her, she felt that she was going to need a bigger house to accommodate those girls. And with the help of Father Celeste and Father Harry, they found the right property. They found the right property to accommodate Mother Teresa and other students. It was in a good location, and the name was, the address was 14 Creek Lane. She had also to share the house with 2 Christian families too, and the owner offered her a room on the second floor for free. And on the 28th of February 1949, Mother Teresa moved into a new convent in Creek Lane. Well, it was a room in that house. Everything she had, but she had nothing, but everything she had, it was someone gave to her, people gave to her, and it was, this was what she had. She had a bed, a bench, a chair, a box to serve as a table, a Lady Fatima statue for the altar, and a picture of the Immaculate Heart of Mary that she loved so much. So that it was what she had as her possessions. And she took all of that, not all of it, it was not all, just few things, with her to her new house. And so sometimes she would find herself without no food to eat, having to ask the owner of the property for it. It was difficult for her, but she didn't mind. She had something stronger coming, and then for her that was probably not much. And so when she did not ask him, she was trusting on divine providence. Someone would give her something. Yeah, God would go and touch their hearts to support her, to give her. Wonderful. The following month, in March 1949, the first Bengali lady or student came to Mother Teresa, came to live with Mother Teresa. Then in April, a second girl came to live, to join them in that house. And the first 10 girls were former students from the Loreto convent. So after the second came more and more, up until 10. They were all former students. And so when they arrived, Mother Teresa would ask them if they really wanted to go and help the poor. If it was really what they really wanted. And their response was all generally yes, it is what you want. They were already determined to live the worldly life, and be with their mentor, Mother Teresa. Of course, they received negative words from other people, especially their parents, because many parents wanted them to have earthly life, marrying and having children. But gradually, few of them left and went back to their families, but the majority of them stayed with Mother Teresa, stayed to help the poor. They began by feeding the poor, serving the poor, begging from door to door, to the door, and comforting the sick and dying, and teaching children. They continue having many rejections, particularly from local churches, because they thought Mother Teresa and the girls were doing something from evil. That was what people thought about. And that is not right. That is not nice. Having such a thought about Mother Teresa and the girls. But some people may have, and maybe they change their minds. And they change. So many people change their minds. They really thought they were from God. And so for now we are finalizing today our 4th episode. I hope you took something from it. I hope you enjoyed this legacy from Mother Teresa, this beautiful legacy from Mother Teresa. And for now, I just want to say bye-bye, and I can't wait to see you again next time and the 5th episode. And for now, bye-bye and God bless you.